One of the most powerful aspects of Microsoft Excel is its calculation capability. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of equations that you can put into Excel, write your own. But as opposed to going through all of them, I'm going to show you just some of the basics, and hopefully you can figure out the rest on your own. What we're looking at here is some basic sales data, and I want to do some very simple calculations to figure out, say, the dollar per square foot, maybe add an approximated cost of the house to maintain, and maybe even create a cute little description of each of the houses. So here we have the street, the city, the zip, the beds, the baths, the square footage, and the price. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a calculation for price per square foot. So I'll just give it a column header, and then to enter an equation, just simply enter equal, then click the cell, say price, then the operator, such as a divide or multiply or a subtract or whatever, and then pick the next cell that you want to include in your equation. Then hit enter when you're done. That house is $70.83 a square foot. Now if we click that cell, we notice that it's up on the formula tab as well. There's a formula bar that you can enter into your equations and make any changes if you want to. If you click in here, notice that how it highlights the I2 in blue, which is the cell, and the G2 in green. And you can simply take these little identifiers here, or whatever you want to call them, these little boxes, and drag them around to a different cell. Now I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's the point on how to manipulate your formulas once you get them entered in. Next, let's go ahead and add something for an estimated annual cost of that house. Now, it's been my experience, but houses tend to be about 0.25% per year based on the cost of the home. So a $100,000 house probably costs you around $2,500 a year just to maintain it, like a hot water tank or light bulbs and things like that. Now, let's just have a little bit of fun here, make it a little bit more complicated. Let's just say that works great up to about a $200,000 house, then above that it's a little bit more expensive. So I could do a few things. I could enter in all of that data manually and figure out what the houses are, or I can use my personal favorite, and that's an if statement. So let's enter a column up here called maintenance cost, and let's add a formula called equals if parentheses, and it gives you an idea of what the values have to be, that argument list. If the logical test is true, then do the next series of data, or do the following set of data in those braces. So let's just say if the square footage, I'm going to click that cell, is less than, say, 1,000 for 1,000 square foot, or what did I say, 2,000 square feet? Let's go 1,000 square foot, comma, do what? Let's add, or take the price and multiply it times 0.25 times 0.25, or take that price and multiply it by just some other arbitrary number, 0.35. And close parentheses, then hit enter when you're done, and that completes the formula. So basically for a house that's 836 square feet, which is less than 1,000, take that 5,922 price and then multiply it by a quarter, which is 0.25%. Now what happens if it's not 0.25%? What happens if I want to change my mind later on and maybe it's 0.23 or 0.25 or something else? I'd like to make that percentage a variable. So I'm going to go ahead and add a brand new row. I'm going to right click, insert a row, and let's just enter another one. And let's just say maintenance cost for small house, oops, S-M-A-L-L, not P-P, M-N-T for large. And I said earlier this is 0.25 for 0.25%, and this is, say, 0.35. Now what I want to do is go back to my maintenance, and you remember where I typed in that 0.025, I'm going to put my cursor right on 0.25, hit the delete key a few times, then I'm going to go up to my maintenance small and click that cell. Then I'm going to move over to the next cell, that 0035, not the next cell, but the next value, and click the next piece of data, that 035. Then when I hit enter, it accepts all of these values. So it's going to say, if this is less than 1,000, take the price and multiply it times 0.25. So basically, if I had enter in, say, 0, maybe my house is free to maintain, you have the maintenance cost of 0. Let's just say it's 1%. I would expect that to be 0.1, 59.2222. So 0.25 was actually 25%, so 0.25% is 0.025. And that's $1,480 a year to maintain that house. All right, let's go ahead and add just one more little piece of data here. And let's add a description. Let's just say I want to show this to the wife, and I would like to say something like the address, the beds, and the price. So, all right, now let's enter some data for our description. So in this cell, hit equal. Let's go ahead and pick the street name, then ampersand to concatenate data together, and then let's pick the beds. Now, I know this isn't going to be correct, but I'm going to step you through this one by one to show you how this works. Once we hit enter, notice how we have 3526 High Street 2 followed by the beds. I probably want to put a comma or something between those two data fields. So let's go click and edit the formula. And between that ampersand, I'm going to put a quote, comma, space, end quote, and another ampersand. Now we have a 2. Might be better if I had bed equal to in there. So let's just put a bed equal, and there we go, 2-bedroom on that street. And I could do this all day long to enter whatever data I want to concatenate together to make a very, very cute description. All right, enough said. Let's go ahead and copy this formula all the way down to all the rest of our rows. So copying formulas is easy. Just click and drag to select everything. And then once you see that little dot on the lower right-hand corner, just simply drag it down. Now, before I do it all the way, let's take a look at what we've got. The price per square foot seems to be correct. My description seems to be correct. But notice I'm getting all this very weird data in my maintenance cost. The first formula is taking, let's just click it and see, that if G4 is less than 1,000, multiply the price times the percentage. That's correct. If we go to the next one, if G5 is less than 1,000, which is correct, take that price and multiply it by, hey, we have a little bit of a problem here. So notice that whenever you drag a cell down in Excel, it automatically increments these values for you. That way you don't have to sit and type it in every time. Now how you fix that is we're going to go over to I1, and we're going to put a $ in front of the I and the 1. That is going to fix that cell to always be I1, this to always be I2. Now when I drag my formulas down, it's going to give me the correct information in all of my formulas. Now we can drag that down all the way down to the very bottom of our sheet. I'm not going to go all the way. I think you get the idea. All right, well that's a quick few tips on how to use formulas inside of Excel. There are hundreds more that we can do, and I'll save those for a different session. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment.